Hey everyone, so today's video is going to be a tutorial on the makeup that I'm wearing right now. This was a requested video on my blog post about the Makeup Geek Insomnia pigment. It's basically a dupe for the MAC Blue Brown pigment and I absolutely love this look. It's perfect for clubbing or going to a party or something. It's not very daytime appropriate because it is very dark. But yeah, I'm absolutely loving this kind of deep, like it's got a really pretty, if you can't tell, it's got a really pretty blue-green duochrome over a brown shade. So if you do want to see swatches and pretty much like a full post about it, I'll leave it linked off down below on my blog. And yeah, I tried to keep this look really simple everywhere else. I just did a tiny bit of contouring and sort of like a little bit of blush on the cheeks, of course some highlight because I can't live without highlight, and then just sort of like a mauvey brown kind of lip. I think I found a really great dupe for the Kylie Jenner kind of matte lip, so if you want to see that, that'll be at the end of the video. So yeah, I really hope that you guys enjoy and I'll see you in the video. I'm personally going to be using quite a matte foundation, so I want to bring like light back into my face and give my face a little bit of radiance. So I'm going to use a radiant product first. For that I'm going to use my MAC Strobe Cream. This is my absolute favourite like radiant primer slash cream product. For foundation today I'm going to be wearing my Estee Lauder Double Wear. My colour is, well, I have W1 bone, but you can see this is clearly not my skin tone. If you're very fair you're not going to find a match in this, but I do just mix this with a light foundation to make it a little bit more, you know, appropriate for my skin tone. So that's the colour there, and then I mix in a little bit of my ZA Skin Beauty Liquid Foundation in the colour 20. And to apply this today I'm using my XOBeauty Flat Top Kabuki brush. Now that I've got that on, I'm just going to go over top of it with my beauty blender. This isn't via beauty blender, but you know, any sort of sponge. You don't even necessarily need to use a beauty blender, just use a damp sponge. Just pat all over your face because it's going to get rid of any brush lines. And it's also just going to ever so slightly pick up any excess product and just blend that out. Okay, so now I'm just going to conceal my blemishes. I did apply one layer over my whole face and then a second layer to my forehead and cheeks just to get a really nice full coverage over all of my redness and the kind of like smaller freckles that I have, just so that everything is looking kind of just like, at the moment it's looking like a flat canvas. So I'm just going to take my MAC Correct and Conceal palette and I'm going to mix these two shades here, NC15 and NC20, and I'm just going to apply that over my blemishes just with a really light patting motion just to make sure that I get rid of them. Now that I've got a really nice coverage over my entire face, I'm just going to do some highlighting just around my under eye area just to kind of brighten that up a little bit. Also, all I'm going to do is I'm just going to take my Lasting Perfection Concealer by Collection. This is in the colour 1 Fair. I'm just going to kind of just apply a little bit underneath my eyes. I'm just going to apply underneath the eyes, just a little bit in here as well, just to conceal the darkness in there. And I'm also just going to apply a little bit to my forehead, down the bridge of my nose, and a little bit on my chin. And to blend that out I'm going to be using my XOBeauty pointed Kabuki brush. I think a highlight that's more like this rather than like a stark highlight looks a lot more flattering. So now I'm just taking my Chella eyebrow pencil. This is in the colour Luscious Light Brown, and I'm going to fill in any gaps that I need to fill in before I put my Gimme brow through, because the Gimme brow does fill in some gaps, but it doesn't really fill in the sparse areas, at least on me. So I'm just going to fill in the gap that I have under my brow, and I'm just going to do a little bit through the top of the brow just to try to define that a little bit more before the brow gel goes through, because the brow gel does really help, but sometimes you need that little bit of extra definition, and I think a pencil is absolutely perfect for that. And then I'm going to take my Gimme Brow by Benefit. This is in the colour Light to Medium, and I'm just going to put this through my entire brow. And I'm going to kind of focus it a little bit more in the inner part just to create a little bit more colour in that area, just to make it match the rest of my brow a little bit better. Now it's time for the star of the show, the eyes. I'm going to start off by priming, especially because we're using a pigment. We want to have it really nicely primed. So I'm going to take my e.l.f. eyelid primer in the colour Sheer, I believe. Yep. And I'm just going to plop some of that onto my lid. It's probably way too much, but oh well. And I'm just going to blend that in. Yep, too much, but oh well. I would actually recommend not putting your concealer on until after this look, because the pigment can fall out. So that was a bad call on my part, but yeah, do as I say, not as I do pretty much. Leave the concealing until after. So the star of the show today is my Makeup Geek Pigment in Insomnia. I will leave a link down below to my blog post if you want to see swatches and everything like that. And yeah, I'm not going to hold it up to show you guys because the pigment will go flying everywhere. This is kind of the colour here, you can see if you don't want to go look at the swatches. It's like brown, and then it's also green greeny blue at the same time, so it's like a really cool duochrome. So I've just taken a flat brush and I've wet it ever so slightly with a little bit of MAC Fix Plus. You just want the brush to be damp but not saturated, but not too dry either, because you want to be able to foil the pigment, which means that it's going to apply better, it's not going to have as much fallout, and it's also going to be more of a vibrant colour. Although I find with this pigment it looks exactly the same dry or wet, it's just a little bit smoother when it's wet. Right, so now that I've got that brush nice and wet, I'm just going to go ahead and pick up a little bit of the, what's it called, pigment, and I'm just going to apply this over my eyelid. You can see it's really, really pretty. You want to make sure that you've got that colour really, really pigmented over the lid, because when it starts to blend out, it goes into like a really, really rich, warm brown, but you want that intense duochrome over the entire lid space. So now I'm just going to actually just take a blending brush and with no product on it, and I'm just going to kind of rub or blend the outer corner of the pigment, because it does kind of start to blend out by itself. So I'm just going to use circular motions and just back and forth motions to see how much I can blend it by itself, because you're probably not going to be able to get rid of this dark line, but you might be able to get some colour going upward. You can see what I mean about how it goes to a real red brown. Like, this is literally just the colour itself. It's just how it blends. It just blends out very, very red brown. Okay, so now that I've kind of blended it as much as I want to, I'm going to use another brown, don't worry. I'm actually just going to apply something to my brow bone first. I'm taking my Naked 3 palette, and I really like the shade, so I'm just going to use Strange. You can use any highlight that you want. I personally don't like a shimmery highlight, so just a matte highlight is all that I like. So I'm just going to apply a little bit of this. I'm just going to take the brush that we were just using and Limit, which is this one here, and you just want to take any kind of like really light blending shade. You can use a darker one if you want, but I really want to just sort of diffuse the edge, because the edge is a bit strong. So I'm just taking a little bit of it, and I'm just kind of putting it half on the stuff that needs to be blended and half on the bare skin, and that's just going to give you the best kind of blend. It's going to tint the colour that's already there just so it's a little bit more similar, and then it's also going to blend it up. And once you're happy with it, you're done with the top. I'm just going to apply a little bit of a dark colour down the bottom. I'm not going to use the pigment just because I don't really want to have the duochrome down there, so I'm just going to take Darkside from my Naked 3 palette, anything nice and smoky. You can use a black, you can use a dark brown. This colour's just kind of got a little bit of a shimmer to it, which is similar to the top, but it's just a little bit deeper. You can also smudge that same colour along the upper lash line if you want to get like even smokier on the top, but I don't really like to do any liner to go with this, because I really like the way that the kind of like Insomnia pigment looks by itself. Okay, so now that this is all done, I'm going to go ahead and apply some false lashes. I do have lash extensions on, so I'm not going to apply any mascara, because they'll blend really nicely with the false lashes. I'm going to be using my XOBeauty Wanderlust lashes. These ones have already been worn, so I'll insert a picture of some pretty ones instead. But any lashes that you like, these are really pretty and fluttery. These are my absolute favourite at the moment, but you can wear something really, really dramatic. I'm just going to contour my face with Hoola bronzer and my small tapered face brush while that glue is doing its thing. So I'm just going to ever so slightly contour my cheekbones, just a little tiny bit, just to give a little bit of extra dimension, because I feel like when I'm wearing something really dramatic like this, my entire face needs to be quite like done. Like I try to do like a full face with something like this, especially because this has kind of got interesting colours going on. I want to keep the face really like defined and quite intense to just balance it out. And then for blush, with a really, really light hand, I'm going to apply a little bit of MAC's Warm Soul. This is just a really nice neutral blush. You can use any blush that you want with this. That's fairly natural. I wouldn't go anything too intense. I'm just applying a really small amount of this to my cheeks. I don't want it to be too intense. So I'm just kind of focusing it down the bottom of my cheeks, closer to the contour, just to keep it really, really subtle. Okay, I need to apply my lashes before the glue goes too dry. We'll do the rest of the face after. Here is the look with lashes and without lashes. You can see it just really helps to give that little bit more drama to the look, just because the lashes are kind of lost. You could do something a little bit more natural or a little bit more like spidery, just so that you could see the effect from the pigment a little bit better, but it is up to you, because you can definitely see it when you blink, and that's when I think it's like the prettiest. I'm an idiot and should have applied this before the false lashes, but with the dark I like this. I like to go kind of different and not wear a black. I like to put something bright, so I'm going to use my Chromographic pencil from MAC in NC15. I'm just going to kind of brighten up that waterline just a little bit so that it looks really nice and just sort of like clean and bright against the dark colours. And of course I feel like my makeup wouldn't be complete without a little bit of highlight, so I'm just going to take my Lightscapade from MAC and just apply a little bit of that to the tops of my cheekbones. So now that pretty much everything is on my face, I'm just going to go ahead and spritz my face with a little bit of a setting spray. I'm going to use my e.l.f. Mist and Set. I don't really know how I feel about this yet, I've only used it a couple of times, but I'm just going to spritz myself with this. I'm just going to take my Beauty Blender sponge again, and I'm just going to pat that in, and you want to pat it in like a downward stroke, just to make sure that all of the little hairies on your face, if they're going to pop up, you can smooth them back down. So I'm taking the Maybelline Superstay liner in Rosewood, which is actually very similar to MAC's Subculture. It's Subculture there and then that's Rosewood. And this one's just a little bit more purple tone, and I'm just going to line my lips with this. Just going to wipe some of that lip balm off first so I can actually apply it. So you can leave it like this, which actually I had no idea, but this is pretty much spot on to the Kylie Jenner colour. I'm going to need to post this on all the makeup pages on Facebook saying this is like the Kylie Jenner lip colour. You could leave it like this totally if you wanted to keep it very, very neutral, but I just want it to be a little bit more pinky, so I'm going to take All About Cupcake from Essence, which is my favourite Essence lipstick, and I heard that it's discontinued, which is really, really sad. Can you just confirm or deny if you know, but mine's melted. I don't know if you can see, but it's like destroyed, so I can barely even apply this, so I need to go buy a new one. I'm going to try to apply this to my lips. So it just gave a little bit more of a shine, a little bit more of a pinky colour to it rather than being quite so brown. So it's still kind of in that whole popular kind of nude, brown, mauve kind of thing that's going on right now, but I just prefer a glossy lip because I think it's a lot more flattering, especially if you have dry lips. Alright, so thank you guys so much for watching. I really hope that you enjoyed this tutorial. It's something a little bit different for me. It is quite dark, but I hope you really enjoyed this video. Let me know if you did by leaving a thumbs up down below. If you have any other requests, please feel free to post them down below and let me know, and I hope you all are having an amazing day, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!